Welcome to New Education with Isha and Danny.
Hi Isha, and hello to all our nuut-ed listeners. How are you going today?
I'm awesome, Danny. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now, for all our new listeners, welcome everybody. Why don't you tell everyone who you are and why you're joining us today?
Yeah, so everyone at home who hasn't watched nuut-ed before, I'm Isha. I'm a nutritionist and basically here to give you all the lowdown, all nutrition facts and tips and myth busting as well. That's my passion, kind of clearing the air with all the misconceptions that there are, on social media, and providing a safe space where you can come with your nutrition queries and we just, help you out and answer them together.
Exactly, and we have a little bite-sized episodes for everybody, so it's super easy for them to digest your information because you give so much good facts. We stick to one topic, one question from our listeners, and we answer them. And today's is a great one. So a lot of people who are trying to lose weight out there say they're in a calorie deficit, well, they think they are, and then they can't seem to shift those kilos and they're really confused.
Yep.
So before we kind of jump into that, do you want to tell us what is a calorie deficit for those out there who maybe don't know?
Yeah. So no matter where they come from, the calories that you consume are either used as physical energy or they are stored in the body as fat, and they stay in the body as fat until you use them up. So you can either do that by increasing your exercise or by consuming less, so your body has to turn to an alternative source of energy. And it does that by breaking down the calories that's stored as fat and use that as an energy source instead. So, in an ideal world, it's that easy. You reduce your calories, you use up the stored calories in your body, and then you lose weight eventually. However, we know that not everything's as simple as it seems on paper. And some people find that they run into issues when they are in a calorie deficit and they actually don't end up losing weight, even though that's the main goal.
Okay, so what would some of those, issues be? What are some reasons why people might not be losing that weight?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to mind is people might be eating more than they actually think. And unfortunately, it's very hard to remember everything that you've eaten in a day. And research shows that between 18 to 50% of people are unable to recall correctly, which means that they can't list everything that they've eaten in a day. And that's just, human nature. It's not very easy to remember everything that you've eaten. But the problem there is if you are
tracking it wrong.
If you're tracking it wrong, you're going to be eating additional calories that you haven't accounted for. If you're following a set meal plan with a set amount of calories, but, you're grabbing a coffee on the way to work, or you're sharing an appetizer with your friend, or, eating your children's leftovers, for example, those are extra calories that you haven't accounted for, and that's what's going to throw that calorie deficit off balance.
And I also heard that snacking is a big one.
Yeah.
So you grab an extra handful of something out of the pantry.
Yeah, something from the favourites box.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so grazing can kill a lot of calorie deficit goals. And that's because, like I mentioned before, grazing is not only those extra calories, but when you're snacking throughout the day, you might be replacing your main meals with that snacking. So you might snack from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and you'll find that you'll have a snack, half an hour later you're hungry again. You have another snack, sooner or later you're hungry again. And what happens is because you're eating a lot of mini meals, that's a lot of calories that could have just been in one main meal. And that's often extra calories because sometimes when we're hungry, we're not making the best nutritional choices.
And especially if you're in a diet mindset to start with, sometimes you do I'm just snacking on healthy things, and that's not satisfying you because you're just picking an apple without some protein and that fats to go with it, that you end up needing another apple, and then you go, I need something else, and you keep going and going. Where if you just had a meal, sat down and had a sandwich for lunch, you probably had less calories.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just these little tiny things which add extra calories that you haven't accounted for from the beginning.
And what about drinking? Everyone loves a cheeky little drink. How does that affect your calorie?
Yeah, so unfortunately not a lot of people take alcohol into account when they're tracking their calories, and that's because a lot of meal plans that you're given doesn't have a designated column saying, wine, beer, that's how much calories it's going to be adding. And, say you have one bottle of wine on the weekend, that's 600 calories, around 600 calories, which is a lot, right? So adding those extra calories
with no nutritional benefits
to it. Exactly. I mean, all fun and games, but
your body's not getting any nutrients.
Yeah. So you're adding these extra calories and, you can definitely do a calorie deficit with alcohol. It is possible.
Balance. We do promote balance.
Yeah. But if you haven't strategically taking that into account and you're having a couple glasses of wine or a couple beers during the week, that's adding extra calories onto the calories that you're consuming through your diet as well.
Okay, so is there any other factors that could hinder our calorie deficit?
So I think when it comes to weight loss, one of the main things that hinder people's, weight loss goals is they want a quick fix. You know, we're so focused on those rapid 1 week weight loss diets, you know, those something
juice cleansers or something that's very unhealthy.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, they often make you cut so many calories in a week that's not unhealthy. Like a healthy rate of weight loss is around 0.5 to 1 kilogram per week. And, you know, if you're trying to lose 5 to 10 kilograms per week, that's just not healthy and it's not achievable in the long term. You want to make these little changes that you can continue to do over time. You know, it's the long run, not the short-term goals. I think if you want an exact number, best thing to do is speak to a nutritionist or dietitian, because they'll be able to figure out the exact number.
We do the amount of movement you do in a day and what's healthy
body
for
weight,
you.
height.
Don't just pick a 12,000 calorie. That's for a child. All those diets that say to eat 12,000 calories a day, that is for a child.
And it's not healthy and you'll actually feel even worse after doing it. And you'll go through something called that diet cycle where you'll end up crashing and you won't feel good.
And you don't want to lose muscle. You want to lose weight in a healthy way.
Exactly. So speak to a professional. They'll be there for you every step of the way and see weight loss as a long-term journey.
Sounds very good. Well, thank you. And obviously making sure you're getting all the nutrients when you lose weight, when you're trying to lose weight. So your protein, your fats, your carbs, and having nutritious meals is our big thing.
Yes, definitely.
And that's why we like to have a nuut. So everyone get a nuut, include that in your weight loss. It's very helpful.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you need like a quick balanced snack, nuut's a great thing to have.
To tie you over and those instead of grazing.
Yeah.
Shake up a nuut shake.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Isha. We'll see you back again next week, I guess,
Awesome.
with another topic that our listeners have sent in. So please, guys, jump on our Instagram, DM us if there's a topic or comment on these videos and let us know what you'd like us to discuss.
Yeah.